Now, lots of people tell me, I watched you on IZZY, I watched people sign up. I told you, just because it's Israel and they want to sign up, they don't give a fuck about however much it is a month. They
right.
just want
Everything we want to do is we want to be original, in everything we do, and the brand transcends every aspect of our company, from customer service to the product to content acquisition to marketing and really everything. So I think the challenge that you want to that you want to always be asking yourself in your individual role is what I'm doing unique and different. We don't want to be a copy of Netflix if we're talking about the streaming platform. Sometimes there are best practices that are important to follow, and we do those things. It's not like we want to be rebels for the sake of being rebels, or different for the sake of being different. But often the reason why IZZY exists, both as a streaming platform and as a brand, is because there was a missing hole, or there was a hole, there was a missing part that no one was filling. And for us to just do what everyone else is doing, whether it's on the streaming side or whether it's on the sort of bringing Israel to the world side, just to copy that or to try to do it better is not really a recipe for success. When I always talk about the difference between greatness and perfection, that we're striving for greatness, not perfection, we're not striving to be better than the quote-unquote competition. We're trying to be different. And that's how you create a brand, in my opinion. It's not by being better, by being different. And that goes across the board. And I think it's very important for me to say that one more time, to reemphasize that this is not a marketing thing. This is not a Josh thing. This is a company thing. Every single person in their world has to have that mentality that we have to bring something different to the market. And if you do that in your role, then the company does that as a whole. IZZY was started for two reasons. There's the opportunity to do something that's not really being done in the space of Israeli entertainment, but also because there's kind of a demand for Israel in a way, and so it's not just most companies, they start because there's an opportunity and because there's a frustration. So I was frustrated with how Israel's story was being told, but if there's no demand for Israel in general, then Israel's story is not really relevant because no one wants to hear it. So understanding that there was an opportunity, that the metrics that you see here were all trending upward, and for as long as I've been in Israel, since 2013, all but 1 year, there's been a new local tourism record, as you see here again in 2019. Tel Aviv becoming really a global, international, appealing city. And as you can see here, what was supposed to be in 2020, with the traffic at the airport, the only airport in Israel, really, international airport. So there is a great demand for people that are interested in Israel. And what you're seeing here, by the way, is just sort of the local physical visiting of Israel. But we know that for every one person that can and will visit Israel, there's at least 10, 20, 100 people around the world that can't or won't visit Israel for a variety of different reasons. And so, we want to be able to bring Israel to them, not just rely on people to come to Israel this year, next year, whenever.
talked on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know, Josh, like every day at Easy, something changed to me. And I think that you'll probably know what I tell you now. I don't think it'll be a big surprise after everything. I don't feel like that now I'm so happy like I was before when I started. The feeling that I have is that you and like everybody don't really have time to teach me or to ask me things or don't know. And that's okay, like I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. I just think that I shouldn't continue. I was like very happy, very excited, very motivated, with a lot of energy to learn, to have like my first job, even was an internship in Israel. And I also really, really wanted to help you and the company to grow. And I wanted to share all what I had studied and all my experience in the last years to help the company, but I don't know, I didn't feel that like you and company knew how to use my potential, you know?
The thing that I saw from you from the very beginning was that you're very motivated and that you don't need a lot of like direction. Like sometimes we have people and I feel like I have to hold their hand. And with you, I was like, it was nice because if with you it was the opposite. It was like, no, you're very independent, you're smart, you're motivated. Of course, in the beginning, I have to be with you to help you understand the company, the customers, everything. But I also saw, because I would see during your customer service shifts, I could see the responses and I could see you texting me and saying this and this and this. And I could, like, it was different than some of the other people that do the customer service. So I definitely see the potential and the desire to want to come and help, and the fact that you're very motivated, which I think is amazing. I totally would be feeling the same thing that you're feeling if I was in your shoes. And at the same time, I think that there's an opportunity here to do two things. One, this is what I propose. Obviously, if you don't want to do it, it's totally fine, but this is what I propose. Like I said, let's instead of saying it's 2 months because it's now, between now and March, when you can, you know, like I told you, move to Tel Aviv, have an apartment, not be rushed. That's 2 months. But I don't want you to be, like I still want you to feel good about the progress that we're making, and not say only after 2 months we're going to measure the success. So I think I told you last time, let's do the first month and then see how it's going. And I think I said this to you last time, and I'll say it again. We have to have 2 meetings a week like this. Every week, no matter what time they're at, I have to be there, you have to be there, and we have to do the work together. Because just sending you stuff and saying, learn this, is not good enough. And so I'm prepared on my side, now that the distractions and the stuff before were taken care of, or are taken care of. I definitely have more time, and now I have a very clear picture of, okay, this is how we can use Liliana's potential.
It's interesting that the Inside IZZY draws so many subscribers. I feel like it'd be something that is for existing subscribers.
Yeah.
So that's good to take note of, that it's a lot of new people.
Yeah, so obviously we're gonna do more of Inside IZZY. We're doing one trailer a week, right? 49 shares, 6 comments, 161 reactions, only on Sunday.
That's good, yeah.
Now, if we compare that to everything else on Sunday, it did the most.
Yeah.
And furthermore, it looks like it had the best cost per click.
Yeah.
But it didn't convert.
Yeah.
Now that's the weird part. And remember we talked about on Sunday, the difference between engagement versus actual real business results?
Yeah, totally.
Now I'm gonna turn this back on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's weird, it doesn't add up.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because it's super unrelated to what we're doing at IZZY, it's kind of more just like the magazine side. But I think it still is important to like establish us as a media outlet that's, you know, putting out good content, which will like in the long run probably convert to sales. But I think, yeah, the things that are just have nothing to do with the product we're selling, it makes sense that that's not.
Josh, my daughter just made Aliyah to Israel, so kol hakavod la. But in the midst of the lockdown, she made it back.
What does she do here? How old is she?
Do I have to tell you? She's not young. She's in her late 20s. I'm only 36. I don't know how that happened that I had a kid. And birth right there.
So she's my age.
She's in marketing. She's a genius. She's working for a fintech company in Tel Aviv. She was actually hired to work in New York, but she made Aliyah. She was like, forget it. She got her MBA. Yeah, so she's cool. She's a great gal.
What's her name?
Her name is Perry, Perri, Finkelstein.
See if
Finkelstein. She's quite a gal.
I just added her on Facebook, and we have 10 mutual friends, which is not surprising because Tel Aviv is a small place.
So IZZY's a cool thing. You know, we have a big donor here in New York named Izzy Englander. He's one of the wealthy. You ever heard of Izzy? Israel Englander?
No.
Oh my God, he's. Yeah. So when you say IZZY, it's very funny to me because IZZY in New York is let's go to IZZY. Let's see a bill paid for it. Anyway. What can I tell you and what can you tell me? What are you looking for? Talk to me.
When you go to thejerusalempost.com or timesofisrael.com, it literally looks like Israel's burning down every time. And that's because the news media became this negative, the world is coming to an end, nothing good happens anymore place. And you see that everywhere. You see that on Fox News, CNN, and it's really sad to me that David Horowitz, who started Times of Israel, I truly believe started it for the same reasons that I started IZZY. And yet, he ultimately had to make a very hard decision, which was the only way that I can remain relevant, just like any other news outlet out there, is if I do what everyone else is doing, which is negative, clickbait, you won't believe what happened today, and it's sad. And I'm sure he probably has this internal conflict between running a business and the mission, so to speak. Because when I go to Times of Israel and then I walk outside my front door in Israel, it's two very different places. And so no one was doing certainly long form entertainment. It was all news, and it still all is basically news. I-24, ILTV, Times of Israel. I mean, it's all just, and it's exponentially less interesting. I don't think it paints Israel in a positive light, and certainly not good for the global Israeli brand image. And so that was the frustration. The opportunity was a growing demand for Israeli content, entertainment, movies, TV shows, and documentaries. And I talk about this in my book. Like, the future of Zionism needs for-profit leadership with the help of our nonprofit cousins. Not nonprofit leadership and relying on the government and relying on rich Jews and relying on. There's just a major disconnect between. And it's a growing gap between what these rich Jews that fund these organizations want and what the market wants. It's just been proven too many times. And I was sick of it. And I said, let the market tell us how we should show them Israel and what they want to see. And that's who matters. And they'll pay you for that. And we've proven that. We're now at 14,000 paying subscribers since August. And hopefully by the end of this month we'll be about 20,000, maybe a little bit less, 19,000, and growing rapidly and quickly moving into original content, which is basically probably the main focus of this conversation.
Hi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, how are you?
I'm fine.
Wait. There's the rock star.
Oh, this guy?
I thought by now you can have another new robot.
It's been sitting in London for 4-6 months. Brand new, amazing robot. With an eye, and he responds to touch, and it comes with wheels and things that climb up walls. I'm telling you, it's like a transformer. It's the coolest thing, and it's sitting in a box.
Can't you ever get it over to Israel?
It cost me $1,000. I'm not paying another $2,000 for customs to get it here. It can stay there until I get on a flight. Now, lots of people tell me, I watched you on IZZY, I watched people sign up. I told you, just because it's Israel and they want to sign up, they don't give a fuck about however much it is a month. They just want to have it and so on. So, what does that turn into revenue-wise?
So I was saying to him that we are doing, at the end of this month, we should be doing about 80 to 85,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
That's very nice.
$1 million a year, basically.
More or less. Knock on wood. Bezrat Hashem, ma shenikra.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem is like you hope. It's already done.
Nachon. Baruch Hashem.
God be blessed.
Baruch Hashem. You heard it from them. Their Hebrew is better than my Hebrew. If I can take this opportunity for a second, and I really mean it, it's Johnny was with us almost from day one, and obviously was instrumental in the issues that we had in those days. And
spent a lot of time. At one point, there were days that he spent more time on IZZY than on tech.
But in hindsight, I see it as a small partake as well. These guys did a lot of work, so I don't take the kudos for what's due. I appreciate it, and it's nice to hear that, and I'm really glad. But I don't take the kudos for anything you guys.
No, it's not about the kudos. It's about I probably don't get out of that alive without you. So while it's true that I put in the work and the team and everything, it's also true that you guided me through a very dark period that I'm not sure I get out of there without you. So I really have to thank you. And I think that the biggest, obviously you have the equity in IZZY, and that'll manifest itself in the next 3 to 5 years. Baruch Hashem, or Bezrat Hashem. You see, I'm just getting it all twisted. Mesh, I'm sorry.
The thing is with Izzy, which I was telling him before, is he shouldn't make shows just for Izzy. He should make shows that fit Izzy, yes, but he should make shows with selling them to other people.
No, and that's what we're doing. That's what the fund is for, and you're right. You're totally right. It's
Do you see any
you're
competitors
smart.
coming into the market with the competitive product?
If you want, sorry, if you want, you could take our Last Jewish Gangster movie, put it as be a partner in it, not be the sole
Correct.
thing, right? But 10%, 20%, I don't know,
Correct.
of the movie, and come in as one of the partners, bring one of your investors, have a solid movie with celebs, and that's going to go mainstream. And because it's that, you also get licensed to put it on your thing and stuff, but it's going to be worth tens of millions.
You know, you could, yeah, Johnny. I'm sorry I didn't call you last Friday. Just to be quite frankly honest, I broke with my girlfriend over the weekend, so it was just a hard weekend.
I'm sorry to hear.
No, it's okay, but
I'm used to meeting you in troubled times.
it's funny because it's true.
But the good thing is that you use me at those times, which is important. And I don't take too much shit the other times. I don't want to I don't get involved in the other stuff because I know it's fluff at those times. But I'm there for the important.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
But no, I think that specific production, if we can talk about it here for just a few minutes, I think is definitely something that would be. I think I wrote you that it's something that we could sell. Is the terminology that I use, Johnny, and what I meant by that is it's something that we could raise money for.
That's why I said it, because I think that you do have, and I think for that show you have the right type of investors because they have the same interests aligned, and that's one of our main titles that has alignment with you right now today, absolute alignment.
So there is an Israel part you mentioned, right? There is an Israeli component.
Yeah. I just wanted to actually. I can't search it right now, but I'll confirm it for you 100%. He definitely has a massive affinity to Israel, but I will confirm what the actual Israel.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
He was one of the main. He was one of the main funders to Simon Wiesenthal.
Interesting.
So he took all this crime money and he put it to chasing Nazis.
That's crazy. That's actually pretty epic. And that's a movie or a series?
It's all of them. We sign the rights for everything. So we start with the movie. We create also a documentary series on him. We also create a mini series which is a dramatise of the movie, and we also you've always got your paparazzi. You've got your paparazzi around, right? Sorry, I forgot now. So and we're going to create a podcast.
Nice.
As well.
That's awesome.
So we start filming actually next week. We send in 2 cameramen and we start collecting him all the documentary stuff in his places of business, his home, his wife, documentary, talking, questions, talking. We collect it. He's 83 this month. So we want to collect it as much as possible. We've got the rights for the book, we've got the rights for the story, all his memoirs, everything. So we want to maximize it, right? And create the most out of it. I think the movie is the best way to start because of Casino and Goodfellas and Godfather and all those movies that are exactly the right style for this. This is he had a gambling business, slot machines, One-Armed Bandit. He was one of the biggest distributors of One-Armed Bandits. He took it to Africa and Nigeria and places all around the world. He started international distribution of them. So it was a massive operation, and it was him and his father that started it. So it's kind of an exciting story, and there were mentors. And at the end of the day, he turned out to sort of get more religious. He became more of a good person, right?
No, it's an incredible story. My question is, can we produce it? Because you said it's mainly shot in Brooklyn, right?
Mm-hmm. Lower East Side as well. Can we produce some in Israel as well?
No, my question is, can we have it produced by an Israeli production company in conjunction, and even if it means going to New York and shooting it? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because if
it's not out of the question, right? It's not out of the question. The only problem is that Israelis are very Israeli, right? And I want it to feel somehow in the same tune as the other movies. So I don't feel, I think Israelis have come to a massive standard in terms of their production of broadcast material. They've really excelled, but I don't want it to tip in any way. I'm always like this about the projects, right? But I try to keep them as high tier as possible. So I just don't want to lower the budget for it, the fee, the acquisition fee, any of those things. So it's not out of the question. I guess if I'm here and I'm producing it, then we could certainly do a big part of it here.
No, I'm not talking about here. We can still shoot it in Brooklyn. We can still shoot it in Brooklyn.
That's on the tin that we can partner with another production partner who on the final thing, they're the one who comes up first and people know them, so it doesn't matter that we have another production company. But my point is if we did it all with a company called Avi Editing, whatever it is, right? And it wouldn't look good in California for the sale of the show as it would, because we're going to take on a director and a writer from probably from Goodfellas or Godfather. So that we've got somebody who attaches to it. Some of the celebs are, what the main guy from The Sopranos.
And how much money for the feature film are we looking at? Total? How much money total for the feature film are we looking at?
About 25
million?
It's not 1,000.
No, but it's. I mean, that's Holly. That's a hot. Yeah, that's a hot. Yeah.
No, it's nothing. I mean, I think the first Godfather movie cost 16. The third and the fourth cost 60 and 80. Most other films of this nature cost 50.
Why is it so expensive?
Because of the scenes, the sets. You have to make all these 30s, 40s, 50s sets. Everything has to be made up. The cars, the clothes. There's a lot of period stuff that you have to do. That's really the bulk of the cost is, and the actors, right? And there's there's a lot of actors. Big story. It would be a major grossing movie. Yeah, it'll gross over $100 million movie. So it's going to cost 20-25 to make it. So it's very reasonable.
Thanks,
I'll send
guys.
it in 2 days' time, and you send Mesh whatever he needed. And keep moving.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.